I just got back from Pilates. We are stretched. We are de-stressed. It's time to get into some product design. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Lindsay. I am a senior product designer. I work full-time for a startup and I also freelance. I've been doing this for about 8 years now, so welcome to the party. So about 2 months ago, I created this guide for aspiring UX UI designers. I compiled a lot of the answers to the questions that I get on social media and DMs on Twitter or Instagram, and put all the answers and the resources into one place. So I don't want to make this a super long or complicated video. I just wanted to kind of go over the notion, show you how you can find or access the resource, and show you kind of how to explore the document as a whole so that you can hopefully go back, use it plenty of times. I'm going to keep this as like a growing and living document, so something that is going to continue to be added to kind of on a monthly basis. I'm going to make a note to self to update it. So stay tuned and let's get into it. So the first thing you're going to do is go to lindsaycreated.com/UX. Also, like the links in my social media bios actually go straight to the Notion. So you can click here if you are getting there from my website. And here you are, you've landed on my Learn UX UI resources page. And it starts with a message from me, just a little bit about me if somebody didn't know, links to my portfolio, etc., and also gives you the option to book a consult. You know, if you really need personalized information that's really like specific to your situation, what you're transitioning from, what your goals are, your timeline, or you want your portfolio reviewed, any of those things, I can't really just do that because you DM'd me on Twitter or Instagram. A lot of times I don't see a lot of those messages, they get lost. So the best thing to do is book my wireframe consultation. So there is a link to that there. But of course, not everybody can afford that. It's $150. So you get these free resources, which are also great. I never talked to somebody learning, so I might have went a longer way around, but I still got to the destination. So do what you can afford. I always encourage that for sure. So here you have the table of content. So just wanted to break things down in case people want to come back and revisit and go to a specific part. Of course, I think you should explore from top to bottom, but later when you're coming back to the resource, there might be particular sections that you're looking for. You know, nobody can consume this all in one day if you're actually kind of taking the actions. So I totally get the need to come back and the need to have this table of content. So this overall as a resource is something I plan to continue to update, continue to upgrade. So please keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, a lot is already here. And as I find new things or there are new questions I want to answer or things that I want to share, they will be here. So I have a few notes on like the best way to share, what some of the icons mean throughout the document, and just a note about like how some things may be affiliate links for certain programs, practices, challenges, things like that. You know, anything I list, I actually stand by. So just know that for sure. And so I'm not going to go into every section because I want you all to be able to really explore this on your own. But you can just kind of get a little bit of a preview about what is kind of on this page as a whole. So just some intro information about getting into UX. So choosing a UX career path, whether it's design, whether it's user research, and those kind of options, the earning potential, just kind of based generally, you know, things change, some things are location based, etc., but just to give you some general ranges to know what you can expect or what you should be looking for depending on the level you're at. The not so fun part, but can be fun part, is a lot of the foundational learning. So one thing that I feel like is my strength, the one thing that I got from art school, is knowing a lot of art and design foundations. And if you don't know that, then your aesthetics are going to be lacking a little bit when it comes to your portfolio. So learning those art and design principles and those foundations are going to be what can set you apart from the crowd, from the more technical people just learning. This is a creative career path if you're going to be a UX UI designer. So that's one thing you definitely always want to kind of keep in mind. UXL is super, super a fun way to really learn. It has a lot of really fun tests, quizzes, lessons, and the way that they present things. You can start with a free trial to kind of explore and do a couple of the levels. I think it's just like a really dope way to learn some of the UX UI basics and then continue to build on that. And so I listed that kind of first here because I think it's a really fun way to get into UX. And then I have a lot more of the technical resources, things specific to certain tools, general design principles. So all of those things that you can learn there. One thing that I also think is, of course, important in learning the foundations and the intro are courses and boot camps. Now, you guys know that I am against boot camps promising you that in 3 to 6 months you will be fully ready to be a UX designer. Even people that get roles in that amount of time, a lot of them don't feel confident they have the role. And I feel like there was also a certain time frame, certain years around 2020, 2021. Some people were able to do that and enter into the market and they got in the position, but a lot of them will still tell me they didn't feel ready. And in today's market in 2023, it is very rarely happening, or people are underpaid, et cetera, et cetera. So I still believe that courses, whether free or paid, can be a great way to learn the foundations. I'm definitely not against boot camps and courses. I'm actually helping to kind of do the curriculum and build out of one that will be local in Charlotte. So I'm not against them. I'm just against some of the promises that they make to make you 100% job ready, to pretend that your portfolio is going to be fully ready with the way a lot of them are structured. To be a fully confident UX UI designer who is coming from a non tech background, a non design background, I would suggest you give yourself at least like a year of hard studying. I'm really working on a self taught designer study guide that will kind of guide you through what I feel like you should be doing from month 1 to 12. So look out for that soon. But a lot of people will even tell you it took 1 to 2 years of like self studying or courses, boot camp self studying to feel like, okay, I actually know what I'm doing enough to get a job in this field. And like I said, the market right now, with so many layoffs and so many actual people with years of experience being out on the market competing for those entry level roles, if they have to kind of dip back down, it's making it even harder. So to not discourage yourself or not feel like a failure if you're not, getting a job after 3 to 6 months, I really suggest you take that 1 to 2 year mark to make yourself more comfortable. All that said, a lot of free courses, premium courses, some boot camps and intensives, and I'm working on adding some specific YouTube learning are all here under these, kind of highlighted, kind of give you some pricing and some further information. Not all of these, of course, I have no reason to have taken all of these, but just based on ratings or what I heard from other people within the field, these are all good recommendations, but of course, figure out what's best for you. Take things with a grain of salt. Please also watch YouTube reviews of the programs. Those are usually super helpful before you actually invest in anything. And of course, try some of the free courses just to see if this is even something that kind of interests you and you want to invest in learning further. Also, I have listed out a lot of the tools here. Now, just to be honest, even as a senior designer, I'm usually in Figma most of the time. Sometimes I'm in a couple of the research tools for a week or two. I'm still prototyping and planning within Figma or FigJam, but certain companies use other things. Startups tend to use Figma a lot more than enterprise companies, such as the banks. Some of them are still using Sketch or Adobe XD. All of them are pretty intuitive, but just know that there are different options. People will use different options for the mapping and research phases of things, different tools for wireframing or mocking up things, even a few of the popular kind of no code websites for building. So this is just to get you familiar with some of the tools. You're not expected to learn all of these things or figure them all out. But I think it's important to kind of list a lot of the industry standard things. And even as you're looking at different kind of roles listed and things like that, you'll see some of these tools and programs listed as great to, good to have years of experience in, be proficient in, etc. So here's just a link to a lot of those, and you can look and explore. And when you're doing different parts of projects, whether it be for an actual role for free through your boot camps or courses, these are tools that you can build out things for different parts of those processes. So definitely check those out. Speaking of portfolios, when you get to kind of the portfolio building stage, I have a YouTube video, I believe, on kind of my tips for building out a portfolio. If I come up with a lot more, I will, of course, put out another video. I'm going to do a series soon on interviewing and portfolio building. So give me some time and grace, but those things are coming soon. So I will add more videos, and it's usually easier for me to give portfolio advice in a visual format. So it'll usually be videos, as well as a few places where you can find some entry-level opportunities and mentorships. I'll probably be adding a few more things to that as I come across them. New things pop up every day. So just give me a little time and grace, and I will kind of set a reminder monthly for me to kind of update this with things that I've noted or seen. Other things, I have things for practices and challenges, which can be really good for building out your portfolio, adding things to Dribble, adding things to an Instagram account, building them out for TikTok videos. I'm going to try to get into some of that stuff too, because it's always good to stay on top of things outside of my job or freelance projects. So you might see that a little bit more on social too. So you can join in with me. A few design podcasts that I like to listen to when I'm in the mood for that outside of my true crime podcast, and some sites that you can use for, inspiration, seeing websites, seeing other apps, seeing what other designers are doing. Always great. Here I have Q&A. So just a few questions. I'm definitely going to add more to that, just because a lot of people have been asking me certain things in DMs and things that become repetitive. So, or even in my consultations that become repetitive. So those are things I can pull out and add to the frequently asked questions. So I'll update that soon. Here's one of my favorite sections, which is something I will definitely be adding to, and it will probably be the most fun for me to add to. I talk about design aesthetics a lot, as I did in the section about foundational learning. I think figuring out the design aesthetics and not just traditional kind of boring standard design that it may get your foot in the door at certain corporations and companies that don't kind of rely on a lot of like new design, fresh design, design savviness, but you don't want to be bored your entire career, and you don't want your portfolio to be boring your entire career. So you want to really learn various design aesthetics outside of sometimes corporate and traditional stuff. In each industry, you will learn, whether it's a freelance project you have, maybe it's for like a fintech, a crypto brand, or you have something for a fitness influencer that's building an app, or you're doing a website for a new wellness brand. Each of these will have their own aesthetics, and you learn the kind of typical aesthetic for each industry before then you branch out and kind of, put your own spin on it and swag on it. But here I'm just calling out things that I see, different design aesthetics that are, kind of common. So I brought out some app and home pages in designs that I like for fintech, that can be kind of inspo. I did a couple call outs for different ones that are kind of based on fitness that you can see will be inspo. And so a lot of things will be different, but you'll see some of the same characteristics. So it's interesting to always look at that and see what each industry is kind of doing. And I'll try to do examples that are a little bit a step above the basic standard status quo for each industry. So I'll definitely be adding to this. It's fun. I love coming across cool websites, new websites, or just like designs that I like or feel like are a fit for what they're doing and reach their target audiences. So definitely stay tuned for more of those things. But yeah, this will be a growing resource, you guys, and just it'll answer a lot of those questions that kind of become repetitive for me to answer in DMs. And I don't want you guys just waiting on kind of like basic answers, a little bit of a inspo playlist that I'll be adding to for while you're kind of vibing, maybe not while you're reading through serious resources, but just to kind of set a vibe and get you excited to get into this field. I'll update the quote of the month. I need to do that. So yeah, I just really wanted to walk through this, kind of show you guys how to navigate it as it grows so that it doesn't ever become too complex, but you kind of know how to come here and navigate it, jump to where you need to go, and you can get there. So just an example of that. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a blast actually putting it together. It's just good to have all my thoughts and the things I'm into and the sites I've discovered and the resources I've discovered in one place, even for me to, to come back and use sometimes. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, you can always check out my site portfolio. I try to update it every now and then. Don't use me as the blueprint, but a little bit of an example here and there. And always feel free to book a consult if you are willing to invest. It's a video consultation. So what you'll do is ask me a few questions through kind of the intake form, and I really take the time to research them, kind of personalize your answer. I also put together an after deliverable of extra resources, a whole resource deck. So it allows me to do something a little bit deeper and a little bit better, I feel, than if I was just trying to answer questions on the fly on the phone. It allows me to give you visual resources, do walkthrough videos for each individual question that you're able to ask. And I just think it's really dope and cool. And I've gotten really good reviews and feedback from it. So, yeah, here are a lot of things that you can try out, a lot of different pathways. Nobody's journey is the same. So, self taught, free courses, paid boot camps, super pricey boot camps, whatever your path may be. We just want to make sure you make it there. So, yeah.